This is freaking wide. Let's hide that. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, video NOS one. Did I say that right? Oh, video Nasoni. How's it going tonight? Arcanus. So, new laptop or new webcam. I also have ready three, two, one, three different cams. The one up here is my computer camera. The one over here is my old camera that always went out of focus. And the one down there is, I guess, down here is my new camera. And it shouldn't go out of focus because it's a lot more expensive. Yeah, and I got really long cords so I can place these things where, like, around where I want, so I could get different angles. I could see my form a little bit better. But I went to go stream Castlevania Circle of the Moon. I think it was just yesterday, or maybe the day before. I can't remember. And it wouldn't let me with the new webcam. It was some reason my computer was glitching. Yeah, Castlevania Circle of the Moon is my favorite Castlevania game. It brought out like Area of Sorrow, like it. Uh, but anyways, I'm gonna finish foam rolling because I am sore. Yesterday I had an amazing back workout. I just went all out. But then today I've been sitting down in a chair for 14 hours and my back is seized up. But mostly it's my glutes and my hamstrings. Yeah, Castlevania. Simon's Quest used to be my favorite before Circle of the Moon. I got the game on cartridge, and you beat the game once, they give you a name that you insert as your character's name, and you get to play as a fighter where you have no magic, you're stronger. You get to play as a mage, a thief, and you got to basically beat the game like 7 times to 100% complete it. And I've done that on cartridge. I've also done that on emulator, and now it's on Steam, so I'm going to be beating it again on Steam. Oh, I've beaten every Castlevania on Steam. So I got, they have a Castlevania collection for the old ones, and I've beaten it 100%. Yeah, right now I'm doing my prep before I work out. I got, oh, that's so tight. I got to stretch. I got to foam roll whenever I can, because it's going to keep me going. And I've got a long week ahead of me. Oh, right there is the sweet spot, right? Oh. Oh, it's not letting go yet. All right, there it goes. It just let go. It's pain. Oh. I like a lot of retro games, but after Game Boy Advance, I stopped really getting any new handheld systems, and then I was sticking with Nintendo at that point. All right, so I'm gonna just grab some dumbbells today. Let's. So far, so good. I'm in focus. Yeah, after around the time the Switch came out, I started getting into PC games, and there wasn't a lot of reason why I wanted to buy the Switch. All right, so I gotta get my dumbbells set up. Can you see me over here? Hey, you can see me when I'm putting together my weights now. This thing's got a wider view, apparently. Where's... I think the color is off, but I have this camera, I can do this. I am going to minimize my chat for a second so I can... All right, so I will go Streamlabs, Camera Hub. Whoops. I got a tan all of a sudden, and now I can become angular. I can become a blur. Let's get those settings back. Oh, I missed the button. Good times. Let's close this thing before I break the time continuum here. There's a switch light. I didn't even know that. All right. So, back to getting my dumbbells all set up. I got them on the floor so you can't quite see them, but I figured I'll stand. The angles are a little bit different. If you look at my other webcam brings me a little bit closer. So for this one, if I want to, I almost got to get closer to get to the same. Oh, one thing about this webcam here, it doesn't zoom in really well, so it can't pick up my calluses as good as the other one. Welcome back. You missed my camera nonsense. I closed the program, but I have the technology to do it again. All right. I'm going to try something here. What happens if I turn? Ooh. I'm so shiny now. I don't like that light on though. Now let's minimize, open that, and ready for it. Moment of truth. I can, ooh. Now this is the easy way to get tall, dark, and handsome. What else can I do here? I can get a tan. Don't even have to go outside. I can become, I wonder if I can turn myself into the Incredible Hulk. If I mess with the settings enough, like I can become sharper. All right, let's get all that back to normal. Close that. All right, time to start lifting something. Whoa. Hey, Sulfuric. Hey, Sulfuric. How's it going tonight? Tanner Holt, 6969. I was playing around with my camera settings earlier. I had a really good back workout yesterday, but then today I spent 14 hours. Well, not 14 hours because I spent an hour and a half heading to a job site, but for another 12 and a half hours I just spent it sitting down all day in front of a computer. I should have watched my posture a little bit more, and then my back seized up a little bit. Cooper Graham, 6969. Do you know? Yeah, I'm just starting warming up This isn't. This is a 15-pound dumbbells. No, sorry. What am I? No, these are 25-pound dumbbells. Do you two know each other? Oh, yeah. And then I figured out what I found out my max bench last Thursday. So Thursday, I I was watching another streamer the night before, and he was talking about how he was sure I could like, and this guy is like, it's destroyed. The guy is, uh, he looks like he makes me look small, but he's also a lot shorter than I am. Um, but his bench isn't that great. I don't consider my bench that great. But he was like, yeah, you got to be able to do more than me. And so he did 315 on his stream. I assumed that's where I was gonna finish. So I thought, okay, I haven't done over 275 this year because I've been focusing on hypertrophy as opposed to just maximum lifts. So I put 315 on the bar, did a set of 5, wasn't that hard. So I jumped up to 365 and I did a set of 2. And I did my first rep. I got down, I pushed up, and it hurt. Like I'm okay, so like that actually hurt. Okay, let's do another. And that was Thursday. It is I don't know what day of the week it is. It's is it Wednesday or is it Tuesday? It's Tuesday. It better be Tuesday. Yeah, I need the rest of my week to get the rest of my work done, and I'm still sore. Yeah, I ramble a lot, but I have that right. All right, I'm gonna bring out this toy here. Built it myself. I think I wanna lower the camera. Yeah. I don't know. I made Arcanus a mod, right? Yeah, the way my channel often goes is can't hurt my feelings, but if you start upsetting other people, then all right. So I'm gonna switch between chair dips. I'm gonna do just a rotation of. I just want to move my camera around a little bit, make sure that it's not gonna go out of focus like my last one. I want to be able to really move it, do this, do that. I like my chair dips. Yeah, I figure once things get out of hand, Arcanus is gonna step in and ah, yeah. I don't have a yeah. I guess there would be some innuendos there, but I feel a little bit ashamed sometimes because I've been saving all my best workouts for the gym, and I feel a little bit guilty doing so. Um, Before July, I was doing leg, chest, back. I was doing all my workouts at home. The only ones I wouldn't do on stream, well, sometimes I just wanted quiet. I didn't have the mental capacity to put myself out there and socialize. Sometimes it was just gotta get the workout done so I can move on with my day. And for those cases, I would just do it in silence, or I'd put on a movie, or I'd watch somebody else on Twitch, and I just lift the weights and then do what I had to do. But since July, I've been fully vaccinated, and I've been heading to the gym quite regularly, doing my back days, doing my back, chest, and leg days at the gym, and then I come here, and often it's just arm days, it's stretching, it's not as I don't know, it's not necessarily me. It's not the way I typically train. Um, but I do enjoy coming here and spending time with people while at the same time, like today, 14-hour workday, right? I didn't get home till like 9:30 p.m. And gym, like my gym, you have to book a session. The last session I can book is at 8 p.m., 8 to 10 p.m. That's when I work out. So next set, anyways. Why did I vaccinate? Well, first, it's only a matter of time until you can't. It's like right now, you can't go to in my country. You can't go to restaurants. You can't go to the gym. You can't even get your hair cut. I don't think if you're not fully vaccinated. But at the same time, I got people in my life that are immune compromised, and I don't care if I get COVID that badly. Like my biggest fear for myself would be like permanent scarring of my lungs, something like that. But if I were to give it to my grandpa or my dad, and the worst should happen, I never forgive myself. And then two, the science behind vaccination is strong, and it's the best thing we have right now to getting back to normal as a society. And I want to get back to the point where I can partner dance again, where I can go and just dance with like 40 women a week, or like 40 women in a weekend. But like right now, it's been like too long. They are starting up several social dancing communities in my city right now. First and foremost, the Latin, the salsa, the bachata dances, but that's not a community I was very big into, and it's not on my top priority. What I'd like to get back to is West Coast swing dancing, blues, but even then, it's not at a point where I would ever consider that right now. I might find one or two people that I sort of know where they've been, and I understand sort of what risk they're taking, and I could like evaluate the risk myself. And okay, so these limited amount of people are who I will interact with in like socially. Let's get caught up in. I live in Canada, so I got no problem dancing with men. There's I've made like some of the best follows in our community are gay men. There's a couple in particular who are just like really like borderline professional dancers, and I've made them blush. And it's like I'll treat people the way they want to be treated. I remember, but like at the same time, I'm not gay, but it comes down to like I just like women. But there was one time I got myself into like a sticky situation where it was we went to a uh, like a gay nightclub, two partner dads as a group for one of the dancers in our community who's also gay, and that's where he wanted to go for his birthday party. And for his birthday present, he wanted to kiss me, and I did not want to, right? So I was just like ixnay, no. But he was persistent, and I was like starting to get a like uh, little bit like anxious and all that. And then a girl came by and sort of like, hey, would you like to dance? I'm like, yes, please, let's go. And so I grabbed her, and then I probably spent like the next 4 hours dancing with her because like she saved me from that awkward situation. And so from then, I ended up dating her for a couple of years, and she put me through the ringer. But I'll that was the moment where we became aware of each other. Yeah. See, I don't think anyone here could actually afford me because I don't need anything from anybody. I've right now I'm just saving money to buy a house. I got no debt. I got plenty of savings, and like I've I've got basically like anything I need. I got. I don't live in an area where like the income is really high, but compared to like daily living expenses, like it's more than enough. I'm putting away money into savings every month. I'm able to eat the same amount as like a family of four, right? So like I enjoy eating. I just like well, I can for 3 years I was eating 5 to 6 thousand calories a day, and it was rough at times, like really rough, but it was like I could afford to do that. Yeah, the worst was you learn every trick in the book just to get more food down and to eat when you're already full. And I would have my last meal around like midnight, go to bed absolutely stuffed. Like I'd go to bed, oh, I'm so full. I'd wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning just to eat some more food. And then I'd go back to bed, wake up at like 7, eat some more, go out to work for 8. And that's a very interesting experience to go through that. But on the flip side, I've also starved myself to be 5% body fat, and that's a different type of rough. I tried dehydrating myself to experiment with that. However bad you think uh, dieting is, restricting your water is much worse. But the right way to do it, the whole period takes 24 hours. If you're doing it wrong, some people will spend like a couple days not drinking anything and restricting their water, and they just prolong how long they have to suffer. So what you do And I'm not advocating that anybody does this because it's hard on the body, is you drink lots of water regularly. Like basically all I'm drinking all day is water. I'm drinking with every meal, a little bit here, a little bit there, and water in, water out. And so you're just like regular lots of water for a couple of days, even up your water intake for a couple of days until you're peeing like a racehorse all the time. Then you go to bed, you wake up in the morning, and you pee it all out, and then you stop cold turkey. And you've gone the night without any fluids, your body wakes up, expels even more fluids, expecting a regular supply, and all of a sudden there's no supply. And the purpose of it is you take out the water that's in between the skin and the muscles, so the skin clings to the muscles a little bit like cling wrap. If you go for too long, what happens is not only does the water between the skin and the muscles deplete, the water inside the muscles deplete, and then the muscles look deflated. So you can overdo it and look worse. But it takes about 24 hours. You go 24 hours. You basically eat like crackers and stuff that is dry and isn't going to add more moisture into your body. Hey, 4 before weight. How's it going? You like my new camera? Well, I will give you 3 of them. I got a computer webcam. I got, this is my old webcam that would always go blurry. And then I got my new webcam. And I was playing around with that. I don't have to, I got a much better continuous, let me, Jaw 08. I'm doing great. Yourself? It's been a long day. I'm happy to be here. Yesterday was an amazing back workout, but then I spent 12 and a half hours out of my 14-hour workday sitting down on a computer doing this, and I was like super tight, and I was all locked up. So I went on the foam roller at the start of my session here. After I'm done working out, I'll probably stretch some more. And then last Thursday, I went to go figure out what my max bench was, and that was Thursday. It's Tuesday. I'm still sore from that. Like I did 2 reps of 365 pounds, and the first rep, it actually hurt me. Like I'm like, that hurt. Okay, let's do another one. And like I could not have pushed anymore. And I haven't even tried more than 275 pounds all year. I just been doing hypertrophy, and often I'll do bench after already doing 45 minutes of cable work, where I'm like doing flies, and I'm just getting 45 minutes of hypertrophy. Okay, now I'm doing like sets of I might put on 135 pounds, do a set of 20, and then bump myself up to like 225, and I'll just sit there for a while, and then. Yeah, thank you. The zoom on this thing is a little bit different, but I have some extra technology here. I should just keep this thing open. I keep closing it, but let's. I'm breaking things. I'm breaking it. I swear. Okay. I can become the Hulk. I can get an instant tan. Ooh, sunburn, very itchy. But I am worried I'm going to end up breaking that if I play around with that too much. But right now it's just a light workout. After every back day at the gym, well, why am I doing that? I forget that I have the webcam itself can actually move and change its angle, so I don't have to worry about moving the platform that it's on anymore. Yeah, the thing is my old webcam was supposed to be a really good webcam. It's like a Logitech like C922P or something. And what I ended up doing is I just ended up throwing like 3 times as much money at it. I'm like, okay, so I don't know how to fix the problem. I don't know anything about webcams, but I'm sure money talks. So I spent like $300+ on a webcam. Ended up buying a bunch of other electronics. I bought cords so I can wrap it around. I can hang up a camera up high, shine it down, have another one at another angle. I ended up buying some Bluetooth speakers, some Sony Bluetooth speakers to place around my apartment. I even got myself a high-tech alarm clock. Got myself SSD external hard drive. Yeah, I remember you were saying that you just found yourself here one day. You were um, just sitting around, and next thing you know, poof, here I am. I hope I want to really, I got to be careful for the next week because I'm going to be sitting down a lot, and I don't want my back is already a little bit locked up. I want to be loose because this weekend I want to try another partner dancing stream. Maybe about a month ago, I I brought Renata on stream. Her and I did partner dancing for 2 hours. It was a lot of fun. After maybe like 2 weeks later, I was thinking about setting it up again, but she was sick at the time, so there was none of that. But now I'm just I've been sore since Thursday, and I don't want to dance and be like oh, I can't move. I'm like a robot. Yeah. For you guys, are there any moments where my webcam skips? From the view I have, every so often it almost like skips a frame. It's happened 3 times during the workout so far. Yeah, me too. I enjoy being there. Yeah. So I got 2 follows this stream. One was Genki28. I don't know if you're still here, but thanks for the follow. As well, this got followed by well that's a name there. Plus Ultra Eddie. I almost read that as Plus Ultra Daddy, and I was just like, no, Plus Ultra Eddie. Well, not too much. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be spending my evening with you guys. Like always, it gets bloody hot in here, and it's not just me, but it is my fault because I'm a heat box. I just give off heat. I'm in an enclosed room, and without my water, without fans constantly being on me, I don't think I'd make it through a single workout. Going back to the gym all the time, I'm pampered with great ventilation and really nice temperature control. Yeah, the problem is my windows are really well insulated from sound, but outside my windows, is a busy street, and between myself and the street is a whole bunch of trees, so I can't see it. But as soon as I open the window, all you'll hear is cars driving by nonstop, and I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to be have to talk over that, even though you can't tell it. But I'm always talking over my music because I'm not going to work out without it. And that was actually, and often that's why I talk. You'll see me talk in sections because I'm almost timing it with the music so that I'm not like if I'm completely off sync with the music and I'm trying to speak, it'll throw me off a little bit. Yeah, I'm in a sauna, dude. Whew, that's it right on the money there. And believe it or not, I don't like sweating when I work out. But I'll often take a cold shower after my workouts. Very satisfying. Sauna gains. Ugh. Oh, uh, yeah. I think if I walked into my gym and it was a sauna, I just turn around and walk right back out. Like I can do that. I can do this workout at home. Lord have mercy. But the thing is, I was skinny most of my life, and when I was skinny, I loved the heat. I would wear a sweater all summer, and I loved the heat. And I remember one time my dad flipped my bed on me because I was I just turned 18 and I spent 8 months or 6 months living with my dad before I went to university. And we were in a little house with he had the air conditioning on, he had fan blown on, he's dying, he's like in his underwear, and then I'm in bed with the covers all like up to my neck with a like a long sleeve with it's not a turtleneck, but it was but like a full like like arm length like a pretty thick shirt. And my dad just took one look at me and then, get out of bed, you asshole. I'm not, if I have to suffer, you have to suffer too. And that's a story he likes to tell. But once I've put on like 50 plus pounds since then, I got a lot more water weight in me, I guess. Well, see, being able to generate heat is actually really good for partner dancing because it makes me comfy. And muscle, when relaxed, like has a soft consistency. So if I'm not flexing on somebody, I can be like a little teddy bear. And often when I'm dancing at like till like 3 o'clock in the morning, afterwards, like it's 3 o'clock in the morning, right? It gets a little bit chilly out, and people might want to the one I'm dancing with might want to snuggle up because she's cold, right? Well, I'm a heat box. Well, where I'm from, we might not have the warmest summers, but we have like more sun than basically anywhere else in the world. It's just sun, like for the mountain, like and so gotta be careful not to get sunburnt really quickly. But also where I'm from, we get our highs and we get our lows, and there's a huge variation between it. So today, or Today it was plus 30 degrees Celsius. Well, last time at this day, I remember 2 years ago, it was like minus 15 degrees Celsius and we had snow. Same time of the year, 2 years apart, 30 degrees Celsius, minus 15 degrees Celsius. So what you're saying is my dancing didn't look smooth and controlled before. It's like jump, 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 jump. But sometimes I'll actually want to, like often you use jaggedness to hit, 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 hit. And so you're smooth, 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 hit the beat. All right, I'm gonna get up. Let's get this out of my way. Yeah. What's that? The moshing? Is that what they call it? Where you just like, and you just go crazy, right? And people are swinging, and then you're gonna punch the people next to you because that was very popular in the 80s, I believe. And that's where you get the people jumping off the stage, and then the people that overdid it got taken out back and. Oh. Now I got like feet are interesting because some people like will crave a good foot massage more than anything else in the world. But for myself, my feet are perfectly 100% functional, and so it does nothing to me, right? Like my calves, I got before I started doing yoga and stretching religiously, my calves were always a super tight. And as soon as I get like somebody massage my calves, it's just like, oh my god, like they just light me up like a Christmas tree. But my feet, I'm like well ground is the ground. I do the partner dancing. You roll your feet. So often you like on the toe and then you sort of come down, and so you roll through the foot as it. So you're actually like rolling through the ball of the foot every step, and it's a good stretch, keeps the feet functional. But there are other dances where you're just constantly on the balls of your feet, particularly with women where they're in their heels, right? And so the heels keep you up, but there's always a strain through the foot. So maybe it's maybe 90% of requiring foot massages are a side effect of wearing heels. Where do I get the energy? It's just how I choose to live my life. So last week I spent 14 hours walking through a lake, through a river. So I had hip waders on. I was like trying, like I was keeping my balance. I was slipping every once in a while on the moss on the stones, and that was a hard day, and that wore me out. I got home. Actually, how long? It was 13 hours, and I got home. I got home at 8 p.m. The reason why I was able to work 13 hours and it's still only 8 p.m. is I got up early because I had to drive out of town to the river, and that day took a lot more out of me, and my feet hurt. I was getting a little bit of blisters around my toes, which have now calcified. Now I got some better calluses. But I went to the gym and I did a leg day, and I did a good leg day too. But knowing my body and how I didn't want to hurt myself, so for the first time this entire year, I didn't focus my leg day around compound lifts. I did everything in isolation, where I just focused on each individual muscle: calves, hamstrings, quads, glutes, all isolation, but all attacking the muscle. And it made me realize that's something I need to focus on more, because my legs are strong, I can lift a lot, but they're not shaped the way I want them to be. And I can help with that by actually focusing on the specific muscles, because I can target them a little bit better. But that was hard. I still did it. Like I got home and I knew it was like, okay, I've been on my feet all day, but this is just how I choose to live my life. And after I'm done, I felt great. Like I felt like super accomplished. It wasn't easy. Like getting home and going to the gym, I had to set myself up on the path to success. Like, I couldn't just get home and then put my feet up and then, okay, now my feet have been up, so I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go. It's like, if I put my feet up, I know I'm gonna be done for the night. So I didn't let myself get comfortable at home. I still left myself a little bit uncomfortable. So like, okay, there's a little bit of tension to get out of here and go. But as soon as I got to the gym, everything else just worked out. Like, you just show up and 90% of the rest of it takes care of itself. So the hardest part is just showing up. And if, like for myself, going to the gym actually makes it easier than working out at home, because I have, like, it's purposely I'm going there to work out, as opposed to I'm home. Well, where's the line between, like I'm in the living room, and now I'm in the living room and I'm working out. It's a little bit easier if you set yourself a schedule. It's a little bit easier if you, like, whatever it takes for you to just get you there. Yeah, I'm better at moving my partner than I am at moving myself. So when you say I get moves, that's just a side effect of just having an idea in my head and not caring if I look like a monkey while I'm doing it, and then fine tuning it over time without a lot of practice without much practice in front of a mirror. Most people, when you see people that are really good dancers, they're in front of the mirror and they practice the moves. Whereas I haven't had that much interest in the moves themselves. My interest is moving the partner around, controlling every action. But at the same time, the best way to get that reaction out of your partner is to initiate the movement in yourself. You want to get somebody to do a body roll, like you start yourself. Like, there's a visual aspect where they see you, and you're taking up space, you're making room for them, as well as if you're holding them hand by hand, that, like, your connection, you start moving your body, like they can feel your butt, they can feel what you're doing with your legs, with your hips, just holding on to somebody's hands. As long as your back is engaged, you engage your back, and that's how you're able to feel what someone's doing with their ass by holding them hand to hand or having hand to back. And that's what leading is what primarily interests me. The rest is a side effect, and I just like music. I'm not, like, I'm terrible at lyrics, as bad as anyone you'll ever meet when it comes to lyrics. Name that song, I can't name that song. Name that artist, I can't name that artist. But you play a music, like you play a song. I've never had to hear it before. I can hear the beats. I can dance along to it, and I can hit everything that it's doing for the most part. And even when I'm dancing, I'm not dancing exactly on the music. I'm dancing the split hair behind the music. So I'm actually listening to it. And one great thing about dancing with a partner, I'm listening to the music, I'm also listening to my partner, and my partner's listening to the music, and we both hear different things, And sometimes what they hear is better, and the ideas that they have are better. If they're able to communicate that to me, it's just like, your idea is great. Let's go with that. Screw it. I had a mind. You're like, this is new. This is novel. Myself, I have been dancing for a good number of years now. It's been too long since I've actually taken a lesson, um, but I started working out about 10 years ago. And after working out for about a year, I started partner dancing. So I've been partner dancing for about 9 years. I started with swing dancing. Um, then I went to blues. Then I went to West Coast. Then I got into the ballroom dances, the Latin dances. I picked up some random ones in between. I know a bit of the country dances. Where I'm from, everybody dances country, but the people that like when you go out, they don't dance it well. It's like a bastardized version of the dance where you lose control of your partner because they just grab you and they just like, okay, let's step, and they just start moving themselves, and you're just like you're in my hands moving, and you're pushing, you're grabbing me and turning me and pushing me, and like you're like much like, whoa, what's going on? It's like, no, like, shake it off. Like, okay, give me control here. Look, we're just stepping, right? Step. See, now we're listening to each other. Okay, now we can walk together. Now, if you want to do that dance, right? So slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, slow, quick. And then so I actually want to lead their steps as opposed to them just taking me and just moving, and like it just doesn't feel that good. And it just works because you get two people that are doing the same thing, but you don't need the other person to do it. They're just like, the other person might as well not even be there. All right, so yeah, the thing is, are you talking about my dance video, my shirt and my dance video? I've got several pairs of dress shirts, several pairs of dress pants, and the problem is I've changed my size, I've changed my dimensions so often over the years. So October 2020, I was like 230 pounds. January 2021, I was 180 pounds. So I dropped 50 pounds in a couple months, and it gets hard to, especially it gets hard to find shirts that actually fit me, because when they fit my lats, right, they just look like they just come straight down and look like a dress. And when I try to get form fitted ones, well, they only fit me at a certain weight. It gets actually very difficult to get pants. But one invention that has really helped me out is stretchy pants. So I started dancing after working out for a year. Well, it took me 4 years to get as big as possible, and within 2 years of dancing, I split every pair of pants I ever owned. And when I'm talking split, I split them right from the belt all the way down, all the way back up to the belt. And this was happening on every pair of pants I owned. So once I started dancing in my stretchy jeans or my stretchy dress pants, changed the game, right? And then they can actually stretch a little bit and cover the muscles. And you haven't danced since before COVID with a partner. You learn country swing and you find it fun. Yeah, country swing has, like, it depends on where you're from, but it often has a little bit of a different syncopation than regular swing. So like there's triple step, triple step. It's like triple step, triple step, triple step, triple step, triple step, triple step. And then there's also whether you're like bouncing up or going down, going down, going up on the beat. Oh, I can talk about like anything that I internalize and I'm passionate about. I can just blather on and on. Yeah, but for me, I've met a lot of good. Like when I started out, I was as bad as you can possibly be. So Jed North, Young LA, Father Sons. Yeah. That okay. So 230 to 180 pounds. That wasn't a bulk. That was for the first time in 9 years. I stopped training because I lacked motivation. I've stopped training because I caught an autoimmune disease before, and I lost a ton of weight. I stopped training because I had my nose busted up. I got surgery to get it fixed, and I didn't heal very good, and so I was constantly bleeding from my nose into my stomach, and I was never hungry because my stomach was full of blood. Lost a bunch of weight. I've I I injured myself at work, a workplace accident, a workplace injury, herniated my disc, tore my glute. I had to stop training for a while, but COVID, the first lockdown, I just brought all my weights outside. The weather was great. I just brought my weights outside. I was doing deadlifts outside. I would do a lot of calisthenics. I gave myself a bunch of challenges. Do the like the bring Sally up, bring Sally down challenge with push-ups, with pull-ups. I'd go for walks, but I'd lunge the whole time. So I'd wear a 50-pound weight vest and I'd go lunge for like a kilometer and a half. Well, maybe like 750 meters one way, 750 meters the other way. Um, and then, so the first lockdown was doable. Then we started getting back to normal. I started going to the gym again. I was training to do a 600-pound deadlift. I got myself up to 575 pounds, and I was getting stronger every week because my weakest link was improving after recovering from my torn glute. And then the second lockdown hit, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. It was winter, and I just lost motivation to work out. I had my goals, I had plans, and then I just wasn't enjoying my home workouts anymore. And that's what it came down to. I lost my gym, which was my social connection with people, and then January 1st, 2021 is when I started streaming. And for me, it was a last ditch effort. I gotta stop the bleeding. I gotta hold myself accountable to show up. I just needed to show up, and it did everything for me and more. So like my first month, I got 45 hours of quality workouts. Yeah. So and myself, I've bulked before. I've been on 5 to 6,000 calories a day for 3 years, and that was rough. At the same time, I've also cut myself down to 5% body fat, and that was rough in a different way. But I was it was rough eating 5 to 6,000 calories a day, but I was happy, right? I was happy with life. Well, when I was 5% body fat, I wasn't happy anymore. I was bloody miserable. Everything became about what I ate, every little thing I put in my mouth. And the worst part is um, below 7% body fat, my body goes into a conservation mode where I just don't have as much energy. Whereas I know people that can get to 5% body fat and actually live their life. I should add some weight. I'm just happy to open up and have people to talk to after a long day at work. All right, let's start pushing myself a little bit more. But I don't want to hit tons of forearms today, but I'll get. maybe 2 more sets with this thing. I want to do dumbbell lat pullovers today. I think I can go pretty heavy. Um, that's the compound. I find that's a good lift. That whatever energy I have left at the end of the workout, I can just expel it. It's like taking a big breath and just getting it out. I spit all over myself there. But yeah, one thing I didn't realize is how tight knit the health and fitness community is on Twitch, and how much support that people give each other. Ooh, as well, like for myself, I find myself watching other people work out now because like as my pre-workout. I don't take pre-workout. Instead, I'll go watch some other health and fitness streamers, and watching them lift and move their body and better themselves, it gets me pumped up just to like let's go guys, right? And let's go. And that's what pre-workout does. It gives you that nervous, it gives you that little bubbly energy, so you like jittery energy, so you're just like, okay, go here, go there, I'm focused, let's go. Well, I get that, like this, like, okay, let's go guys. I can't quite read chat without getting a little bit closer. Yeah, and I've had an interesting life. Never expected to make it to this age. But once, after a lot of self-introspection, the stuff that ate me up for most of my life, when I was able to really assess like my involvement in everything and just let go, it became like now I can talk about things that I couldn't talk about before. Like things that used to just eat me up. Now it's just like it just rolls over me. I just try to be the best me that I can be. I want to live a long time, and I want to live well as long as I can. I don't just want to live. I want to thrive. So at the same time, I don't need a lot of stuff. I'm mostly happy just to live a comfortable life. I've been in situations where like you can't afford to eat, and that's the type of stress that has probably shaped me to be a little bit of a saver. I always want a little bit of nest egg in case you've been watching other streams since January. Where did you say you were from again? Like, you don't have to tell me like this town, this street, block, whatever. I'm just like, I'm just wondering, is there like a concentrated place where more streamers can I imagine if you're in the States and you're streaming with other people in the States, you can just get on the freeway and hey, I could be at your place and just go for a road trip. And now I get an ad. The song sort of picked up there at the end, and maybe you want to just enjoy the moment, and then right to that to a round pickup ad. Right now, I had a plan, and I forgot what my plan is. I was just thinking about doing a little bit of an arm day because my back is done. My chest is done. My legs are done. So the next thing I'm gonna do is tomorrow is gonna be leg day. My legs are actually mostly recovered. It's just I think they need another day so I can really attack them like I want to. Um, so today's almost like a pseudo rest day. I was mostly I just wanted to limber up. I started my workout with some mobility stuff, and then I was on the foam roller. I've been sitting down, getting a little bit stiff. Um, yeah, actually, I want to bring this guy out because I can feel my lower back getting stiff again. This is my favorite glute exercise because you can really you can pick yourself up with your butt muscle to the point where you get to the top and your butt is just like making a fist and just squeezing. Oh, yeah. And I don't know if I said this earlier when you were here, but I've actually been feeling a little bit guilty with my streams lately because I'm saving all my best workouts for the gym because I'm able to set up heavier weights in a in an easier environment, as well as I'm able to train like I've always been used to training. Houston based. If you're trying to target your forearms, you should bend your arms 90 degrees. Okay, I'm not like my forearms are actually every time I do a back workout, I get home and I go heavy to the point where my forearms fail, and I will go home and try to shower. Every time I try to wash my hair, my hands when they make the bend and they pinch here, it'll lock up. And it's funny because often, like when I partner danced, my rule was if I didn't work out first, I can't go partner dance after. So I would have a workout first, then I go dancing for like 4 or 5 hours, and after really heavy back days, when my forearms start cramping up, I would have my arm around a lady's back, and my arm would lock, and so I have to like shake it off, and I hold her again, my arm shake like it just like it keeps locking up, and it's just like it's painful. So I'm dancing with somebody, and every so much I was like, oh crap, and meanwhile I'm trying not to let her know what's going on, and all right, so when you're trying to, you should bend your arms 90 degrees, then stand on the bench. So are you talking? You gotta explain this to me a little bit better. I'm not fully understanding this, and I am interested. Kame Hakan. I don't go to Farmer's Tan. I don't like it. All right, so I'm gonna keep doing my arms because I'm all set up for it. What I like doing the best for my forearms is actually back grips. But I'm not going to do them today because I don't want to hit my forearms too hard. If anything, I'm almost thinking about doing some ab work just to really open up and get some movement through my back, through my hips. But or I can just dance, right? Get the hip movement to do the twist. Like on Pulp Fiction, John Travolta. I might not get my closer on that grip exercise, I guess. Okay, so after this set, I'm gonna try to get a position, and you sort of tell me what. But like standing on the bench, what does standing on the bench do? That's fine. I'm glad you took the time to write it out for me. I have a little better idea. I'll read it better once I'm done this set. Yeah, that's. Oh, my back is sore. So I'm confused a little bit by standing on the bench. I got my. I'll back up a little bit further so you can actually see my bench. So I'm standing on a bench. Standing on a bench or chair allows you to get. Oh, the full length of the rope. Okay, I get that. So the rope gets. Well, I built this thing, and I could have made the rope however long I wanted it to be. So I'm holding it fully out. Arms to the side, making that. Okay, so this. Yeah. When I'm out here, I'm also getting a decent amount of shoulder in as well. Easy way to do it is you keep your hands down at your waist, and this becomes easy. So this, I could carry like 10 times much weight if it's at my waist. But yeah, if you are here, the rope is going to be lower. So you stand up, you get more. Yeah, this hits the forearms a little bit differently. Holding it extended is still a little bit harder, but it's not as isolating for just. So, like my way, it takes the force of the forearms a little bit further back, as compared to just like past the wrist. But yeah, you get a nice. You hit this part of the forearm. What's funny is, so I spent a lot of time on my forearms, and I got. This is all just. I can't get a good angle here. Yeah, so this is all meat, right? And before the pandemic, I started to get into arm wrestling, and I thought I was going to be good at arm wrestling because I had forearms. Well, what I didn't realize is it's this part of the forearm that does most of the work in arm wrestling. So I spent all this time developing like my forearms so that they pop out of t-shirts and stuff. And what do you know? It didn't help me at all in arm wrestling. On a side note, my arms actually look like my biceps look smaller than they are because my forearms are large enough that they take away from the size of the biceps. Now that's from just tons of pulling exercises. I can pull a ton. I do my rows, I do my pull-ups. I can do pull-ups with 150 pounds on my waist. They're not pretty, but like 130 pounds I can do, and I can do it pretty. It was my birthday back in July, and how I celebrated my birthday is I went to a calisthenics park and I did a bunch of Ninja Warrior stuff. And after about 45 minutes of just jumping between bars and doing muscle ups, I did 400 pull-ups before I went home. So my birthday present to myself, my 34th birthday present to myself, was 400 pull-ups. I took some videos from that day. I posted them on Instagram. They're still up there. But I remember very clearly I did 370 pull-ups easily. It was like I just ran through them. It was nothing. And then exhaustion kicked in. It was like the sun was shining. It was super hot outside. And 370 pull-ups in, suddenly I'm exhausted. And the last 30 were like 10 times harder than the previous 370. You know when you see the long distance runner and they're right at the finish line, and all of a sudden they start to like fall all over themselves and they just lose their body motor, like their motor skills. Well, that was me, and I finished those last 30, and I pretty much needed help to get back to my car. And really, I think when I got really good at pull-ups was when I herniated my disc and tore my glute, because at that time I couldn't pick weight up off the ground, and it was like I was a little bit strong here, but as soon as I had to but what I could do is I could do pull-ups. So I had a hammer, everything was a nail, just pull-ups every day, and I was doing tons of pull-ups, and I just got good, like I got better at pull-ups. Maybe. I think we're all a little bit nerds. I would have been like growing up. I would have been considered a nerd, but I was also into sports and I was into like I was crazy, but I also had a lot of like I grew up with zero parental supervision, had access to whatever I wanted. I didn't learn how to read until like grade 2 or 3, and I went right from not knowing how to read to reading Stephen King novels. And so I had all the horror novels I wanted, and I was reading stuff that a grade 2 student had no business reading. Um, well, I also was I was wiry. I wasn't much of a jock. I would I grew up in a family where all the guys were bigger than me, and I would I wouldn't necessarily lose because I would make sure like if we get into a scrap that like you're like we're both gonna end up hurt like we're both gonna have a bad time, and I had a high pain tolerance. I played badminton from grade 3 up until when I herniated my disc in 2018, and I started playing badminton again recently, but I don't have like a club I'm playing with. I just have somebody who's like, don't tell her I said that. So, but yeah, I've watched basically every anime that came out before 2012. I used to play RuneScape. What I would do is I would play RuneScape, and while I was playing RuneScape, I'd have anime running on the like beside in a window, and have another window beneath it where I'm chatting with people. So I was multitasking, playing RuneScape, chatting with people in RuneScape, chatting with people on MSN Messenger, watching my anime at the same time, which has subtitles because I refuse to listen to dubbed anime. And I had time, spent thousands, tens of thousands of hours watching this. Oh, splashed myself. I got distracted there. Cam can cook. What's up, Cam can cook? That's surprisingly hard to roll off my tongue. Yeah, after 2012, I started reading manga, and I can speed read. I can read faster than most people on the planet. Um, but often I have to get in a zone to really read fast. So I can read fast, but when I'm once I'm in the zone, I've lost myself. I'm like literally as fast as I can scroll. I can read, and so I started reading manga because manga is the exact same as anime. It's just not motion animated, and like I started with One Piece because One Piece was not like on a hiatus. So I started reading the manga, got all the way to the end of the manga, and then suddenly there's so much more content. For every amount of anime that's out there, there's like 5 mangas, and the mangas don't get censored often like the animes do. So you can get into context where it's like real, and like Korean manga is often a lot more down and gritty, and it's like you get into a fight. It's not like the anime fights where it's like, oh, I get beat down, I come back up and strong. It's like, no, shit happens, and life is tough, and but there's a lot of manga, like a lot of really good manga that will never get animated. Sun Ken Rock, that's one that pops up in my mind right away. Um, but then once maybe around 2000, maybe around 2017, I stopped reading manga so much, and I started just going back to reading novels online because you can find as much of that out there as you want, and there's so much content keeps me entertained when I have nothing better to do. My computer automatically filters out my music, so I don't have to worry about getting DMCA'd. There was a point in time where I had Twitch soundtrack playing on my streams, but the thing broke, and I probably spent like 15 hours trying to fix it. And at this point, I'm just annoyed with the whole thing. I spend more time trying to fix my Twitch soundtrack than I have on any other aspect of my streams. Because I'd like to share the music with you guys, but if that happens, then I can't save the video as a VOD. And I've been taking my videos off of Twitch and saving them for later because 2 weeks and the videos go bye-bye, and I want to be able to look back and see what my conditioning was a year ago. I want to see what my conditioning was, and I want to see my progression a little bit. Give myself a little bit of see how the oh my god. Music makes every workout better, but at the gym I got to keep it on the DL. I can't be distracting anybody else from their workouts. But since I started streaming, I've been finding it harder to keep it a little bit in, so I've been sticking in like more like head bobs and just where I can. Yeah, there are 4 sections where the music actually wasn't cut. So there was 4 sections where the music actually wasn't cut. Maybe I should have added a description that's what I should have done. I should have added a description to the VOD. Um, I ended up posting the video on YouTube to save it, but it ended up because of the music, it made it so nobody in any country in the world could view the thing. They're like, okay, so you can watch it in any country except for this list that you just keep scrolling through, like A to Z. But the thing is I can always do it again. But right now, it's not. It's going to be me and one partner. Um, I'm not going to go and interact with a lot of people. So there are certain dance styles that I can do that she can't, or there's certain things on how that there's certain things I can lead on her that I can't lead on other people, and there's certain things that she has a little bit of a hard time picking up per se. But like I remember when I was the most spoiled, I was I was the driver. I would leave my place. I'd go. I'd pick up 3 to 4 girls who went with me to every dance event, and so I always had people to dance with. I'd go pick them, and they would leave me waiting outside their apartments for like where however long they're gonna. And this is like but whatever. I didn't care. It didn't really bother me much until much later. But in the end, small potatoes. But I was spoiled. I had women to dance with everywhere I went, and they each had their own specialties. There was one of them that was like really good with any type of body rolling, smooth type movement, but couldn't do pulse, right? There's another one that I could do. So I could lead so much stuff because she just understood pulse so much. So if I want to lead her hips, I can do it through pulse. And if I'm pulsing, I can. And we're like having fun with it. We're just we're balancing, but I'm leading all this stuff. And then there's another one like there's Mike Woods. How's it going? I'm doing good. It's been a long day. I don't know how much longer I'll be streaming for, so I should actually put my mind to what I'm doing now. I want to do dumbbell lat pullovers, so that's what I'm going to do. I don't have them set up right now. Um, yeah, I'll definitely throw in more of these, more of this variation that you brought in with keeping the wrists 90 degrees. See, I could lift more weight this way than I can out here, even though it's more isolated on the, like, even though there's a little bit of, like, your elbow's moving as well, as opposed to keeping your elbow locked. So I need a dumbbell. I need the setup. I'm gonna lower my camera. I've got a new camera if you haven't noticed. New camera, as well as I got, ready for it? I have 3 cameras total. Yeah, not that exciting. But I got, let's see if I can figure out which one's which. I got my computer webcam. I got my old webcam that was supposed to be good and I was out of focus. And I got my new webcam. So I don't need to see this many of myself. I think that's how fashions are made. You get something like, I don't know. Maybe I started thinking about anime. Maybe I've watched too much anime in my lifetime. Anything you can think of that's been done in anime or manga. It's the Japanese version of Simpsons did it. Simpsons did it. All right. So with this setup, I don't really know quite what's best. I'm gonna have to play around with the settings a bit. Yeah, to fix the problem, I just threw money at it. That's all I did. I bought a $100 plus webcam, and the thing was always out of focus. So I am spending like a $300 plus webcam, and now I have more options. I can still reuse my old webcam, and I got cords I can hang it up. I could separate them by quite a distance. They're not wireless. I could potentially get a wireless webcam, but it's not high on the priority list right now. Good question. It has it's something face cam. It's an Argado something. Maybe if I click on the video device, hopefully I won't break it. New camera, Elgato face cam. And close it. All right, so this might not be the best angle. Let's try to get a better angle. Try not to stick myself with these threaded ends. Ooh, that's sharp. For this, I find it important to have the base of my skull supported. Prevents me from straining through my neck. Oh, that felt good. Oh. Feels good to just open up like this. Right here, opening up, letting the weight open you up. Like this is baby weight right now. This is nothing. But it's important to warm up. Plus, I want to see how it looks. So I'm going to have to change this slightly. See if I can get up like this. Ugh. All right, let's add 35 pounds. Whew. Yeah, it's I ended up spending a whole bunch of money at the electronics shop. I got 1 terabyte SSD hard drive. I got a bunch of Bluetooth. I got a couple of Bluetooth speakers put around the apartment. I got a fancy new alarm clock. I got some cords. All right. You can never go wrong with more like USB to USB-C cords. Ooh. So now I got 55 plus 35, 90-pound dumbbell. Maybe I should have done some more iterations between, but for this exercise, I start to tap out after 120 pounds dumbbell. That's the heaviest dumbbell that they have at the gym. And I can still get a set of 10, but it's very iffy whether I get the 10th or not. Actually, it's very iffy whether I get past 7. Sometimes I'm feeling better than others. Yeah, that type of weight is hard to get out of the rack, because the way the racks at the gym are set up is it's in front of you and it's at the bottom, and there's sort of wedged right beside the other weight. So I got to like get in there and sort of jimmy it out and then bring it out so it's under my center mass and I can carry it around. Yeah, well, mostly gotta be careful of your shoulders. That's a lot of weight, and you're in a little bit of a precarious position. You don't want to shift around too much, because you shift when you're in a. It's like how you'll see people at the gym bench pressing with the bar behind their head, and the thing is, it gives them no benefit. Like you can still train your muscles that way. You can get big training with the bar behind your head, but you're in a precarious position. It takes one little slip, and the next thing you know, you've bugged up your shoulder for 6 months, and it's like there's no upside and only downsides. Just do a regular military press. The muscles don't know any different. All right, so I want to try this a little bit better. We'll get a bit closer. I got my bike in the way of my feet right now. See some striations in my legs. All right. So which way do I gotta put this thing on with? I always forget which way to load this thing. I want to load it so that I grab the end with the 125 with just the 25 on it. So if I put this on my lap, and then this end goes. Okay, so I put the thin end on my lap, thick end goes on my chest. Flip it up, grab the thin end. All right. I should probably do this back. I should probably do this the other way, you know? That seems to make more sense to me. Let's get this out of my way. I got the dumbbells around my feet. Let's get out of here, yo. Perfect. Oh, that's never happened before. My back is sweaty. Well, ain't that the dangest thing? You told me to be careful. I guess I didn't listen. Oh. Damn it. This all happened because I didn't move my dumbbells out of the way of my feet. was pushing the dumbbells with my feet, and I pushed the bench back. That was fun. Get myself set up again. That should do it. Yeah, I should have listened to you. In my defense, I'm not used to sweating when I work out. How's that angle? Whoa, the weight is sliding off my body because I'm slick. I put the weight on me and it's like, oh, I'm hot. And the problem is I don't have the fan directly on me. That would make a big difference. All right, so I don't want to go that heavy today. Maybe I'll just add 10 more pounds, go to 100 pounds. Well, I'm having fun. I'm finally feeling like I'm giving you guys your money's worth. I scratched myself. I don't know if you can see that. All right, I'm gonna catch my breath. I'm gonna do it again. But I wanted to add on 10 pounds, so let's do that. This camera is actually a little bit wider. But I miss my pink background. I like my pink background. Now, the problem is this thing doesn't snap to it like. So I would like the pink background centered around the window, but the way this thing snaps is it goes to one corner. So it's like a little bit of pink above, no pink below, and I'd rather just take that away than have to deal with that assault to the senses. So I'm going to add 10 pounds to this dumbbell, get a 100-pound dumbbell, do my lat pullovers, and I'll probably do 2 more sets of this. All right, let's go. Make sure the weights are on, they're not going to fall on my face. Let's put the fan on me again. turn it a bit, bring it down. Oh, that's heavenly. That's a godsend right there. Making sure I'm on the thing so I don't slide off again. Oh, easy peasy. Beautiful cover drill. How's it? Yeah. All these songs, they start to pick up the last couple 8 counts of the song, and then done. So I start to get into it, and then what did I do today? I had a plan this morning, and by 9 a.m. my plan was out the window. Got to work early. Came back to, I sent an email finishing off a project last night. And I came back to a response to that where the client was like, oh, so we can do this, right? And please tell us that we can do this. Like, no, that's not what we discussed. I gave you a package. And so I explained to him, this is what you can do, this is what you can't do. And there went a good hour and a half of my time. And then I got another response for a drawing I sent to the city that the city is just being like, we actually don't want to allow this and we're going to make things more difficult on you, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, got to sort that out. And then I was setting up a couple projects that had to get done. I had to figure out how to set up our GPS with our sonar equipment so that we can have the GPS controller hit a button, takes a shot with the GPS at the same time that it shoots some sonar down, tells you how deep the river is, where the GPS rover antenna is, and tells you the depth of the river in one shot. Because I'm going to have to use that later this week. And then I have 2 drawings I need to get out. And I spent all this time trying to get these drawings. I didn't get to my drawings until like 7 p.m. I spent all day running around doing this job, this job, this job. I couldn't focus on one task more than an hour and a half. I had to drive across the city to do a site inspection, set the contractors up so that they're ready to work for tomorrow, and then drive back. So it's like 20 minutes of driving, bit of time on site, 20 minutes of driving back. And then while I'm on site, I realized that they have to put in 6.5 meter long screw piles. They have 20 feet, so 6 foot long screw piles, which is half a meter short. And then I had to run some analysis to sort of figure out if that's actually going to work or not. Long story short, we can make it work. And then 5 o'clock, I expected to have, no one's going to bug me. 5 o'clock, I'm going to be able to sit there and do my drawings. Well, 5 o'clock came, and my boss got an email from one of our clients where he had got drawings stamped by another engineer instead of us. and the other engineer didn't follow the building codes. And so the city took a look at it and they're like, this doesn't meet building codes. We're not going to allow it. And so we had to look at it, and we went through all the building codes, found in fact that the city is right, and we had a problem. And so we spent 2 hours going through building codes. Um, Before my boss left, I could finally sit there and go on AutoCAD and do the drawing that is like a task I could actually finish for once instead of these tasks that drag on and never end. So that is what I did today. That was probably a good 5 minutes of just. But hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for asking. So I'm going to do one more set of my dumbbell lat pullovers, and I'm probably going to call it. I will. I'm trying to debate whether I want to stretch before or after my shower. On one hand, I'm going to have a cold shower and I'll be a little bit less limber afterwards. Plus, I'll be all clean and I don't want to necessarily get sweaty again. On the other hand, I don't want to be sweaty anymore and I don't want to be sweaty and rolling around on the ground. So I think I'm going to get clean first, stretch, go to bed. Tomorrow's going to be another busy day. Without spending late nights at the office, I'm just not going to get my work done. We are so busy right now. Everybody's workload is like more than they can handle. We're getting a new worker next Monday, and he's supposed to take off a lot of the slack. We just got a new worker like 2 weeks ago, and he's already got a completely full schedule. And we're basically bartering with his time right. Like the guy has no self will right now. We're like he's right there, and me and my other coworker are talking about him. Like he's like 2 feet away from us. We're just talking about him, like figuring out his schedule. Like okay, so how about I get him on Wednesday, you get him on Thursday. We basically like a child custody agreement. Then the third coworker came and says, "Hey, so are you guys using the GPS equipment tomorrow?" And I'm like, "I'm using it. You can't have it." The other guy goes, "I'm using it. You can't have it." Crap. Well, we only have two. Well, you're out of luck, haha. Right? So it was like a Three Stooges with with an audience who is our poor new hire. So that's my story time right there. Now let's do my last set. I got a 100-pound dumbbell. I've had time to catch my breath. More importantly, I've had the fan on me this whole time, so I'm a lot less sweaty right now. So now I'm not slippery anymore. I'm just sticky. I probably consider sticky a little more gross, but probably a lot safer. All right, last set. Wish me luck. Oh. No, my head's not supported. There we go. How often do I do leg press? I like to do leg press. My go-to is to do focus on more leg press and um, not variations, but a whole workout tailored around leg press and similar activities once out of every 2 workouts. So I like to have a workout that is primarily around squats, and then the next time I'll have a leg workout that's primarily around leg press. But it also differs. Sometimes I have a goal where I want to achieve something specific, so I'll spend more time on this. Where I've done leg press consistently twice a week for months. Particularly my 10th year high school reunion, I showed up to my 10th year high school reunion 225 pounds with an 8-pack. So I got 6 abs you can see. I got another 2 that are buried beneath fat. Plus my final 2, they need a lot of ab workout, like an ab development, to just even be able to be seen. It takes a lot of work for just a little bit of improvement. Trill Dizzle. I'm not quite sure what that's in reference to. I suspect you're trying to make me say something. As a rule of thumb, I'm obstinate. I don't do what people tell me to do. All right, so let's see who's online. You did catch me at the end of my workout. Regardless, I hope you had a great day. I'm glad you picked my stream to drop in on. And I don't know anybody on right now, so I am going to send a love to somebody who looks like they're putting in some good work today. Hey, there's me. I'll send you to this guy here. Man, I have the fan set down low because I was on that bench the whole time. Now that I'm off the bench, I am sweating. All right. So this guy's Can I show you what my camera can do? You ready for it? Let's I can become tall, dark, and handsome. I can become sunburn. It's very itchy. I already made that joke earlier in the stream. I put a lot less effort into it this time. What's compensation do? Does this one make me go to the other? Oh. I'm probably going to give someone I should give like a seizure warning first. Let's get that back. Let's get that back. Let's get everything back. Temperature, what does that do? Automatic. Now this is my sauna. I can't actually see chat because I got this program covering it. All right, so I'm going to do some weird filtered posing before the end of the stream. Oh yeah, and I will raid this guy. Whoa, I don't know what happened there, but I didn't like it. Did I just tell you I'm often? All right, let's go automatic. There I am. Ta-da! Ta-da! All right, so I'm trying to raid this guy. There we go. So thank you everybody who came and joined me for my workout today. I had fun. It was a great night, just what the doctor ordered. Who needs therapy when I got you guys? Oh, I'm gonna send the love on to somebody else who looks like he's putting in some good work. It's a click of a button for me, but it can really make somebody's day. So I hope you guys are nice to him and show him the same kind of support you showed me. But have a good night, everybody.